Dear students, dear relatives, and other supporters of the students, dear colleagues, my name is Mark van den Brand, and I'm the Program Director of the Computer Science Programs at the Department of Mathematics and Computer Science. It is a great pleasure to welcome you and the candidates on this graduation event. I'm happy that we can celebrate this event together on our campus. As a department, we are proud of the fact that today these students will receive their degree of Master of Science. This has been the result of hard work under sometimes difficult conditions due to the COVID-19 pandemic that we left luckily behind us. We offered our students a rich variety of high-level courses given by excellent teachers and a challenging graduation project. These ingredients have prepared all our graduates well for their future career. Candidates, I sincerely hope that you enjoyed our university and our challenging educational programs. The Examination Committee for Data Science and Engineering has assessed the work of the following candidates: Daan Hegger, Sander Bos, Mart Keizer, Mike van der Meijden, Bart Engelen, Yanis Makantis, Bas Putjes, Thomas Kwat, Igor Smit, Daan Verdaasdonk, Jort de Box. The Examination Committee for Embedded Systems has assessed the work of the following candidate, Marcel Bleker. Dear candidates Masters of Science, you have all passed your examinations and therefore you will be conferred your degree for the Master Data Science and Engineering and Embedded Systems. This degree entitles you to use the title Master of Science and Engineer. Our program highly values personal contacts between lecturers and students. Therefore, I will now invite our students to come forward one by one to be congratulated personally by your graduation supervisor, if he is at least here in the audience. I would like to call forward Daan. No, wait.
Dan, we've met when you asked me for supervising your graduation project at Accenture in the domain of legal AI. They were quite flexible about the topic, so we decided to investigate hallucinating large language models. It was in the midst of the ChatGPT craze, and it was known already then that large language models, while being able to answer questions on any topic with eloquently crafted English, sometimes they would just make things up. So, we decided to tackle the problem of verifying whether natural language statements are correct. In particular, you focused on factual consistency in document summarization. That is, given a summary of a document, the aim was to check if the facts contained in the summary were supported by the original document. It turned out that even measuring factual consistency is a difficult task, and so this became your topic. This task, being broad and multifaceted, demanded various skills and discipline. Fortunately, this is exactly what you brought to the table. You are disciplined, and from the very beginning, you had a plan. Already in the third week, you tried to negotiate the defense date. I will tell you that a graduation project is research, and that it is difficult to predict how long it will take, but you insisted. You worked hard and focused, you studied literature, developed machine learning pipelines, ran a large user study, and ultimately defended on time. You are ambitious, versatile, and disciplined. I've truly enjoyed working with you and wish you all the best.
Then I would like to invite Sander. Also, and let me hand over your diploma. Also, congratulations.
Hello, Sander. Even though I would prefer to be here in person today in order to congratulate you, unfortunately this has not been possible. Your thesis was on the topic of Granger causality between time series, with a special focus on a new type of causalities, multivariate causalities. Now, for the uninitiated members of the audience, Sander tried to answer the following questions during his thesis. First, is it possible to efficiently detect causal relations between time series? For example, in the context of finance, is it possible to efficiently identify that the stock price of, let's say, Microsoft has a high influence to the future stock price of Oracle, or vice versa? And following this, is it meaningful to talk about causal relations that extend to more than two variates, to more than two time series? Sander? As with most of the thesis problems we give to our students in this university, I did not know the answer to these questions beforehand. So we worked together on this. You rose to the challenge and you delivered an impactful thesis which has both theoretical and practical contribution. Your results, I have to say, they're a good first step to fully understand multivariate relations, especially causality relations, and they're an important contribution to our knowledge, to our understanding on causality. Now, in our meetings, you're always prepared, you're always on time, very pleasant to discuss with, to talk to. I did enjoy our meetings a lot, and I learned quite a lot from our collaboration. Concluding, I would like to congratulate you once more and to invite you to maintain your links to the department, to me, if you stay around the area. You're always welcome for discussing to my office, for discussing any interesting problems that you may face at your new positions. So don't be a stranger. All the best.
Then I would like to invite Mart.
So, Mart, very happy to be with you today to celebrate this big achievement in your life. For your graduation project, you went a little bit outside of your comfort zone, working on a topic at the intersection between data science and cybersecurity. Specifically, you worked on the wireless localization of drones based on the received signal strength of this drone and the capability of verifying their location, looking at the received signals at one or multiple receivers. You worked on many different aspects of the problem, from the design to the analysis, data coming from simulations, real experiments, and also a very wide discussion. So you really did a great job. And now you're also gathering the results with the graduation, this ceremony, and also, this is very fresh news of this week, the acceptance of your work to a prestigious international conference. So very happy with you, congratulations, and best of luck for your future career.
Then I would like to invite Mike.
Congratulations. Oh, Mike, so sometimes the project sounds really great and easy and kind of straightforward, but there are a lot of hidden things to consider, and then it takes all, like, I don't know, much more work than you imagined. And I think this is what happened a bit with your project. So it was quite interesting, but I think in the end you also did a lot of work. So the goal of the project was quite clear: to detect outdated information about waterways, streets, and other infrastructure in the maps of the Netherlands. And the data that you had for this were satellite images. So you have to train a detector for the classes that you have, like streets and so on. And if there's a mismatch between what the detector finds and what is registered in the map, you raise a flag. So, but training this detector has a very crucial subtask that you have to solve, which is to also segment the areas that are the streets and the waterways and the patches of land and so on. And segmentation is just not really solved in AI, I would say. So there exist solutions, but they're really extensive in compute, and they also work not super reliably. So what I really liked is that then you didn't just like slap existing solutions at the problem until something sticked, but you recognize that it's important to have good data that you put into your models, and you delve deep into this processing aspect of the data, such that the existing methods are able to deliver satisfying results. So one of the typical issues when dealing with satellite data is also that you have to consider clouds and seasonal changes and so on. So it's all very important that you know a bit what you put in and what you can get out. Yeah, and you put a lot of your labor into this, so you even manually label data to have a good training set. I think that's kind of a unique experience. But in the end, you provided a sound solution to a quite nasty problem. And I'm quite sure that any employer would be happy to have you, because you really showed that you can take a step back when needed and that you can do the time-extensive thing, but maybe not like the most straightforward thing, when needed. And I think that not many people have this trait. So I wish you all the best for the future. Keep up the good work. Congratulations again.
Then I would like to invite Bart.
Bart wilde voor zijn afstuderen wel iets doen met exceptional model mining, hierna EMM, op data die varieert over tijd. Dit onderwerp heeft ook mijn interesse. Ik heb 14 jaar van mijn carrière gewijd aan EMM, dus dit leek mij wel een goed idee. Bart wilde zijn afstuderen graag intern doen bij een bedrijf. En dat bedrijf zou allerlei data beschikbaar hebben. Dus aan de slag. In de praktijk bleek dat wat lastiger te gaan dan gedacht. Data die voldeed aan de eisen die het project aan de data stelde, bleek niet zo ruimschoots voorhanden te zijn als we hadden voorzien. Dit leidde eerst tot een paar maanden aanmodderen, maar toen kreeg Bart ineens een idee. En dat idee stond eigenlijk haaks op het oorspronkelijke projectidee, maar het had potentie. Dus met volle energie stortte Bart zich op zijn nieuwe idee. Het idee gaat als volgt. In EMM zoeken we interessante subgroepen in een dataset die tevens interpreteerbaar zijn. We zijn niet zo geïnteresseerd in de subgroep van deze 20 mensen, maar we zoeken de subgroep van de rokers met leeftijd onder de 25 bijvoorbeeld. En iedere dataset omvat exponentieel veel kandidaat-subgroepen. En de uitdaging is dus om ze efficiënt te kunnen vinden. Meestal gaat dat top-down. Je ziet dat een beetje in die diamant daar. We beginnen aan de top met de subgroep die de hele dataset omvat. En vervolgens gaan we deze steeds specifieker maken. En op niveau 1 vinden we dan subgroepen als rokers en leeftijd onder de 25 jaar. En bezitters van Opel Mariva's en mensen met blond haar. En op niveau 2, een niveautje lager, gaan we dan combineren. Dus dan vinden we rokers onder 25 jaar en blonde bezitters van Opel Mariva's en blonde rokers enzovoorts. En op niveautje 3 gaan we dan nog verder combineren. Dus dan vinden we blonde rokers onder de 25 jaar enzovoorts enzovoorts enzovoorts. De meeste algoritmen voor dit probleem lopen zo niveau voor niveau van boven naar beneden door de zoekruimte heen. Bart's idee is om dit andersom te doen. We beginnen onderaan met de kleinst mogelijke clusters van een paar punten die dicht op elkaar liggen. Vervolgens laten we een rule learner los op deze clusters en zo genereren we regels die deze mini-clusters omvatten. Dit zijn de kandidaatsubgroepen op hogere niveaus. Bart noemde dit dan ook bottom-up search, oftewel BUS. En zijn experimenten tonen aan dat BUS veel beter werkt dan de state of the art, dus dit is allemaal fantastisch. Ik denk dat BUS een betere naam verdient. We doen namelijk niet echt een bottom-up search. We gaan niet niveau voor niveau van beneden naar boven door de zoekruimte heen. In plaats daarvan beginnen we weliswaar op het laagste niveau, maar van daaruit maken we dan in één keer een sprong omhoog naar de set subgroepen die op allerlei niveaus tegelijk leven. En we bewegen niet verder door de zoekruimte heen. Dit klinkt mij dus meer in de oren als een bottom-up seeded pattern sampling. En als ik dan van het woord pattern de letter A steel voor in mijn acroniem, dan wordt dat het buspas-algoritme. Waarom vertel ik u dat nou allemaal? Dan nu, als een student zelf een nieuw idee weet te ontwikkelen, zonder dat ik ook maar in de richting aan het suggereren was. En als een student zelf dat idee weet uit te werken, te implementeren, te stresstesten en te omschrijven in een scriptie. En als dat idee dan duidelijk beter werkt dan de state of the art. En als dan het enige substantiële wat ik daaraan nog kan bijdragen is een marginaal betere titel, dan heeft die student het uitzonderlijk goed gedaan. Het bedrijf is tevreden, ik ben tevreden. Bart heeft voor zijn afstuderen een welverdiende 10 gekregen, dus ik ben maar even zo vrij om ervan uit te gaan dat Bart ook tevreden is. Iedereen blij. Dit werk is geaccepteerd als een masterscriptiepaper bij BENAIC, de Benelux AI Conference. Dus komende maand presenteren we dit werk aan de Data Mining Machine Learning AI Community van de Benelux. Daarnaast zijn we van plan het werk aan de hele wereld te presenteren via een publicatie in Data Mining and Knowledge Discovery, het internationale toptijdschrift in ons vakgebied. Bart, toen wij aan dit project begonnen, had ik me niet kunnen voorstellen dat dit zou zijn waar we zouden landen. En dat is eigenlijk precies hoe onderzoek hoort te werken. Merci voor de enorm prettige samenwerking en succes in je verdere carrière.
Then I would like to invite Yannis.
Giannis, sincere congratulations. He chose to do an internal project in our group, and Ilan Pai was the main supervisor. Unfortunately, he couldn't stay here today, and he prepared a speech for you, and I'll read it. Dear Yannis, congratulations of your successful completion of master thesis studies. You chose to do a project on exciting and challenging research, influence blocking maximization from a fairness perspective. And you were well prepared to do this project. You obtained early experience taking required courses, including machine learning and graph mining. You also gained relevant research skills during your graduation seminar. Perhaps from my side, I should add that the current state of the art was not necessarily ready for your research, because there were quite a few approaches already proposed in the field. And then they were claiming some results. Unfortunately, those were quite challenging to reproduce. And then partly it was challenging because neither exact pre-processed data sets nor implementations of declared techniques were easily available. And despite of your multiple requests, very few authors responded and then shared their research findings. Nevertheless, you embraced the challenge and then decided to do what's possible to do given what's available. And you did lots of engineering work, much more than expected from the beginning, exactly because reproducibility in some sub-areas of social network analytics can be still improved. And obviously with your work, you did make an important step in improving the situation. The issue of influence maximization in social networks is critical, shaping opinions and behavior of online communities. And beyond, you can think about it in the context of many real-world networks where some bad behavior can propagate, whether it's virus or spam or fake news. And there are different strategies that can be used to fight it. And influence blocking maximization is one of those successful approaches, but it's often used to optimize for some overall efficiency or overall effectiveness without looking into how different sub-communities and individuals would be affected. And this is something that you took to heart in your research, and you tried to figure out how to measure possible unwanted biases in this process and how to mitigate it with different techniques. So particularly your contribution was to introduce novel elements in the evaluation framework and how to perform benchmarking of existing algorithms and then things that are fairness aware in this context. And it does help us to understand the performance of these influence maximization techniques from fairness perspective. I'll get back to the text. So, moreover, your willingness to seek guidance whenever necessary didn't go unnoticed. You showed a keen interest in understanding the key concept of graph mining, producing comprehensive comparison experiments, and proposing practical solutions. The execution of your project was not smooth from the beginning to the end. However, you demonstrated a high level of independence and self-motivation throughout the project to get it sorted out. In fact, you practically came up with different ideas and pursued them, achieving much more than was asked initially. Congratulations again on successful completion of your project. I wish you all the best in your future endeavors.
Then I would like to invite Bas.
Dear Bas, congratulations. Your project was also related to some aspects of fairness in machine learning. You decided to do your project with ING, with model validation department, so with department that looks into all kinds of machine learning that are used in banking industry. And often they want to provide some trustworthy assessment on how reliable the model is, how accurate it is, what kind of unwanted biases model may exhibit, and provide feedback to developers such that things are fixed before they induce some harms in real settings. So your goal was to work towards a framework for detecting those unwanted biases, and the company was extremely ambitious, and you were extremely ambitious, especially at the very start of the project. And well, for a good reason. You're a very strong engineer, and having computer science background always stimulates us to come up with generic solutions. So we often try to solve all problems in the world, which sets us apart from many other disciplines. They say, oh, well, it's not possible, and they don't do it. We actually say, well, it's impossible. Great. We'll try to do it. So soon after starting the project, you became much more pragmatic, and you understood how challenging the problem is, and you started to scope the project in more and more sensible way, given the scope of, or given the length of the master thesis project. Hilde and I were helping to convince ING that, well, this could be a reasonable framing, and it still involves a lot of challenges, both methodological challenges, but also engineering challenges that needs to be pursued. In our opinion, you still were very ambitious, much more ambitious than a master student working on this topic should be. But you achieved really a lot. So you, first of all, looked into the mainstream approaches, and then you make very conscious choice to focus on representation bias in existing data sets. Well, many of you know about garbage in, garbage out principle, and then you were trying to take it to heart when thinking about fairness. So if there is some form of representation bias, most likely existing algorithms will not do well on such challenging settings. So let's try to figure out how to detect and quantify unwanted things in the training data. While working on this solution, again, like we were trying to suggest you how to narrow down, you realized that, well, single thesis project might not be enough to solve all the problems, even though your thesis was over 100 pages. Apparently it was still not enough. But to be serious, again, like you thought about many important design choices. You tried out many techniques. You looked into ways how to identify the bias and measure it. What is also commendable about your project is that you didn't act just like a computer scientist sitting in a corner looking, okay, well, this is the requirements. Now I will address it with my design choices and see how things work. You talked to so many people at ING. You were trying to figure out how different people think about the problem, what they find important, and what the potential use and maybe misuse of developed tools would be. And this helped you again to think much more seriously about different requirements and deliver a tool set that is highly appreciated and valued at the company, and not surprising, they offered you a job while you were still doing the project. I think I will stop here. There are many things that can be said. That it was a very enjoyable path, and it was very nice to see how you developed professionally, also thinking about this topic, thinking about it from societal perspective, from the company perspective, and from computer science engineering perspective. And again, it was very commendable what you achieved throughout your project, and we wish you all the best in your future endeavors.
Then I would like to invite Thomas.
Dear Thomas, congratulations with successful completion. You chose to do an internal project. You came up with your own topic, so you were very much passionate about deep learning, convolutional neural networks, but you were also passionate about different ideas of explainable AI. And you had a very critical eye, very critical view on what is currently happening as a mainstream research, and you were wondering what would be like an important milestone or important breakthrough to be achieved in this space. And you chose to look into the space of prototype-based neural networks or concept-based neural networks that try to go away from, let's say, black box paradigm, where you just to find end-to-end mapping and hope for the best performing classifier or object detector. And you were looking into ways how to make the model more interpretable by design. And one of the ideas how this can be achieved is to come up with let's say concept-based, pattern-based, prototype-based representation such that a key high-level features of objects can be extracted and represented within the model representation. Just to make like a simple intuitive example that you also carry out in the thesis, you want to classify animals, you want to find out some characteristic examples. Let's say if there is a zebra as one of the objects to be classified, things like patterns of black and white stripes might be characteristic, and this is what you want a neural network to learn. And there are different ideas which can be explored or exploited to force a machine learning approach like convolutional neural network to do. And then currently there are two main lines of research in this space: how to use domain knowledge to define those patterns and make it part of the modeling process, or how to steer the training process such that the model can uncover those patterns themselves. And there are quite a few advantages and disadvantages of those methods. And then you came up with a very bright idea how to take the best of the two and how to develop an interactive tool such that domain experts can inject many known patterns. And then at the same time, many new patterns can be learned automatically from given data set and some state-of-the-art approaches. And then how this process can be refined over time. And then, well, obviously this is not an easy task. Like, first of all, it's not easy to make a deep neural network to just work and extract useful patterns. But this just emphasized the importance of the work that you did, that this type of interactive tools are needed, such that with the help of domain expert, this process becomes more and more meaningful, better and better. And then I must say that even though we are very much interested in explainable AI in our group, no one had exact expertise that you were focusing on. And then again, like, you were very proactive, and then you searched for additional expertise outside of our group, and then you found a very good expert from Oxford University to whom you pitched your ideas, and then he also reinforced and then confirmed that you have a very good idea worth pursuing, and then provided critical feedback from time to time on how the process went. So I think at the end you delivered very, very nice results. It is a working prototype. It shows the potential. It's immediately possible to publish it as a demonstrator, and then with some additional work it can result in a nice research paper. But I think what's more important is that this work can stimulate further development in this important field, and this is what we can see happening now at most recent conferences like Computer Vision Conference, where more and more people are interested in prototype-based convolutional neural networks, and they try to see how to actually make it work and useful in practice. And I hope you will find a way how to make your work more impactful and connect with many of those who are interested to pursue this. Once again, congratulations.
Then I would like to invite Igor.
Igor, congratulations with successful completion of your diploma, and it is noteworthy that you received cum laude distinction. Actually, you completed not one master thesis, but two. So you did a dual master degree in data science and engineering at our department, and operations management and logistics at industrial engineering and innovation sciences, under supervision of Dr. Zank and Buchs. And this project was also done with external partnership with Wanderlande. You navigated very well with this large team of supervisors and different stakeholders with different interests. At the same time, you were highly independent in pursuing your project. But perhaps I would like to say a few words about what the project was actually about. I guess from a bird's eye perspective, it's about work allocation. And then you can think that it's quite a challenging problem, multi-objective problem. It can be hard to define what does it mean to do the work in the most effective way, in the most efficient way, in the most fair way. Sometimes, even when discuss work distribution at our department, there are different opinions what is the best way to do it. And, well, in your work, you decided to simplify the problem to some extent. So you don't delve into existential issues and philosophical issues of fairness and work distribution in that context. But you got a very interesting assignment from Wanderlande when the goal is to optimize the efficiency of work in warehouses, how we can find collaborative solutions when there are automated robots for picking different goods, and there are people who are also part of this workforce, how to make their joint work as effective as possible, and at the same time to obey some fairness considerations, such that the work is distributed in some reasonable way. And then you should make, you had to make some reasonable assumptions, again, what fairness might mean, and then how to model effectiveness. And then you developed a very expressive simulator that would allow to try out different strategies, and you embrace the possibility to use reinforcement learning, or deep reinforcement learning in particular, to learn the policies that would correspond to efficiency and fairness aspects. And I must say that on both sides, like with a large supervisory team, both on operations research and on data science and AI, or data science engineering, we were extremely happy with what you did, how you did it, and what results you delivered at the end. This can be witnessed also in two concrete outcomes. So your results were summarized in a high-profile conference submission, and we believe that it has a good future, possibly not immediately. It always depends on how different reviewers appreciate the work. But I'm sure that it will find lots of light and appreciation eventually. But at the same time, it was highly appreciated by Wanderlande, and they believe that it can be part of their future solution. At least they're really eager to implement it and test in operational settings. And it's already visible from your experiment that it's not only effective, but also scalable solution and generalizable to different sizes of warehouses in particular. So again, this is what we dream our students to achieve, to have strong academic results, but also very practical impact in the company, and then you manage to achieve both. So not surprising that you got a very high grade at the end and got cum laude. But of course, this is something that we also kind of predicted from the start. Even though at some moments there were some doubts. I'm not sure if there were doubts on your side. So at some moments in the project, you're not able to type in the most effective way because of some accidents appearing. But you never gave up, and then you had very good spirit of overcoming all kinds of challenges, whether research related or, let's say, real life related. And then we were very, very pleased with how you combined high level of independence, but also asking for critical feedback and then taking that feedback very, very seriously. And then we hope that it slightly helped you to achieve what you delivered at the end. Well, just to summarize and to give a heads up, there is a national competition about best master thesis projects, and then this supervisory team had no hesitation actually to go for it, and then we nominated your work, and we don't know how well it will be appreciated by the committee, but the nomination itself is already a huge sign that we're really, really proud about what you achieved. Congratulations.
I would now like to invite Dan.
Beste ingenieur Verdaarsdonk, beste Daan. Ik denk dat het nu de derde keer is dat wij elkaar fysiek ontmoeten. Eerste keer was, ik heb het opgezocht, 2 jaar en 1 dag geleden, 12 oktober 2021. Ik had toen een sessie georganiseerd, een matchmaking event voor Master AI projecten. En jij was daar aanwezig. Het was overigens de dag na Nederland-Gibraltar, dat weten jullie allemaal natuurlijk. Die wedstrijd die wonnen wij met 6-0. De tweede keer is een paar weken geleden. Toen had jij heel vriendelijk, maar toch vrij direct mijn aanbod afgewezen om te promoveren aan de TU. We zijn toen door een aantal bedrijven in mijn netwerk heen gewandeld samen om te kijken wat de mogelijke volgende stap is in jouw carrière. En de derde keer is nu. En vandaag is het Nederland-Frankrijk, dat weten jullie natuurlijk ook allemaal. Ik denk niet dat het 6-0 gaat worden. Als het maar geen 0-6 wordt, dan ben ik al heel erg tevreden. In de tussentijd heb je wel en een voorbereidingsproject gedaan bij mij en een afstudeertraject. Maar in dat voorbereidingstraject zat je in Canada. Ja. En tijdens dat voorbereidingsproject in Canada vroeg je mij wat ik ervan zou denken als je je afstuderen in Australië zou doen, in Melbourne. Dat heb ik goedgekeurd en heb geen seconde spijt van gehad. Alle bijeenkomsten, je was altijd heel erg goed voorbereid. Juiste antwoorden, juiste vragen. Als we een keer iets moesten doen met de tijdszone, dan was je er heel soepel in. En om te spreken met de vorige bondscoach, je hebt je hele traject geleverd. Je hebt gewerkt aan improving dribble value prediction for expected possession value in voetbal. Dat is onderdeel van een samenwerkingsproject wat we hebben. We is de TU Eindhoven met de KNVB. Het doel van dat project is het ondersteunen van het Nederlands voetbal in de breedte. Zoals jij weet, mijn persoonlijke doel is om te proberen met data science en AI dus eindelijk te zorgen dat we een keer wereldkampioen worden. Liefst voordat ik zelf deze planeet zal verlaten. Dat zou mooi zijn. Een onderdeel van dat project is het expected possession value model. Daar proberen wij een waarde te bepalen die de waarschijnlijkheid uitdrukt van de kans dat er een doelpunt gaat vallen binnen een bepaalde tijdspanne vanaf de huidige wedstrijdsituatie. Daarbinnen is er een model dat gaat over dribbles. Jij hebt gekeken naar het beste model in de literatuur. En toen compleet iets anders bedacht en veel beter. Je hebt daar deep learning technieken gebruikt om een veel betere waardebepaling van die dribbelcomponent te geven. Dat heb je uitstekend gedaan. We hebben het werk gewaardeerd met een 9, dus dat was zeer goed uitgevoerd. Ook zeer goed beschreven, een geweldig rapport, dus hulde daarvoor. Nu ben je onderweg naar de volgende stap. Ik begrijp dat een van de meest voor de hand liggende opties ook een bedrijf is in mijn netwerk, dus wellicht komen we elkaar daar nog tegen. Sowieso ben ik ervan overtuigd dat je een glanzende toekomst voor je hebt. Ik wens je daar heel veel succes, plezier en voldoening mee. Rest me nog wel even je ook het beste te wensen namens je KNVB-begeleider Tim Jansen, namens de TW-medebegeleider Thijs Overmeer en namens de lid van de afstudeercommissie Dr. Odysseas Papapetrou. Daan, het ga je goed.
Then I would like to invite Jort.
Jort, we've met when you asked me for supervising your graduation project. After enjoying an internship at CodeNext, you decided to graduate there on the topic of mass spectrum annotation. The goal was to identify molecules in a substance from its measured mass spectrum. The topic was challenging, but also highly relevant with many applications in industry. Existing solutions to this problem relied on looking up molecules with similar mass spectra in a database. You aimed to identify molecules that even haven't been previously catalogued. Initially, we decided to focus on exploring the impact of data noise on the model's performance. Very quickly, however, you encountered a problem that is quite common in our world of big data: the absence of data. You worked hard to obtain the data needed for developing and validating the noise model, but without success. The setback was hard and demoralizing, but you persisted. You adapted, altered the focus of your thesis, and eventually produced a really nice result. The graduation journey was challenging and exhausting, but, as the saying goes, nothing worth having comes easy. Through perseverance, you have grown to become an independent engineer, fully equipped to address complex problems. You are diligent and consistently positive. Thank you for involving me in your project. It's been a pleasure working with you, and I wish you every success in the future.
Then I would like to invite Marcel.
Dear Marcel, congratulations. I don't know where to start because it's been a long journey. So I met Marcel, I think, around 2 years ago in my course, Systems on Silicon. It's about chip designing, basically the chips inside your phones and laptops and so on. So, of course, he had so much interest in chip designing, so he also took other courses of mine, the digital integrated circuits, and then he decided to do a project with me on, of course, chip designing. Of course, about the courses, of course, we did not see each other in Systems on Silicon because it was during the COVID time. But of course, I remember your name because you were quite active in the Teams chat. So thanks for being active there, at least. And then, of course, you were talking to Jos Hausken, my co-lecturer. And then you wanted to work on circuits-related project. And then we decided to work on a topic called compute in memory. Just for the audience to understand what is compute in memory, so all the data science guys creates problems for us. We have to run AI algorithms in hardware at the lowest power consumption. So we need to find a way to run your algorithms in the hardware, especially battery-operated devices. So then, of course, what is compute in memory? Because in computation, you have to do computation and also storage. So the basic idea is to move computation inside the memory. So it's more about designing both at the same time inside the same physical logic. So the topic is, of course, a hot research area which is upcoming in the IC design space. Of course, we started with a topic which is from the recent literature called ZPIM, which is very popular. And then, of course, Marcel took over and did the literature survey, understood the paper well. And of course, the challenge is, the question is, how do we implement it? Because that is not so easy. So there was this open source tool called OpenRAM, so we decided initially to start with it. But of course, you came up with a lot of issues with the tool. It of course works on paper because all open source tools are also all like that. I mean, people publish as open source, but when you start using it, you realize the problems. Of course, then you decided, okay, I'm not going to use it, but then I'll design my SRAM on my own, which is a very courageous decision you took. Of course, it came up with its own challenges because SRAM designing is not an easy task, especially for being in your role as a master's student, because there are expert researchers or designers for 15 years struggling to make good SRAM design. But you took it as a challenge, which I appreciate, I think, which was a very commendable effort you did there. And of course, during the thesis, it was not an easy ride. Of course, it's a very complex project. As I said, it involves a lot of use of a lot of tools and technologies. And also during the preparation phase, we got some feedback that the technology we used was not the right one. So you had to change it. So of course, you managed to do it. You learned the new technology, the 22 nanometer from Global Foundries. Which is very commendable jobs because even industry experts struggle to start working with new technology. And then, of course, you came up with the circuit and implementation, and one good thing is you came up with a novel idea on the bit skipping, which we don't find in the literature, so that's something very novel, which is actually worth publishing, of course. You're not interested in a research career, otherwise we could have published it. And then, of course, in the end, you mapped an application of the VGG16 model, which is for image classification on the SRAM array. You estimated the energy and area, and I think overall on the energy you seems to gain. I think there were some improvements, which was a good result. So overall, I'm quite happy with working with you. It was nice. We had quite a nice discussion, and it was very interactive, and also a lot of discussions we had to do over the Teams because during the COVID time, and also. And during your part-time working at your startup on the 3D manufacturing, I also remember some calls you were having, and your 3D printing machines were running in the background. So yeah, that said, I mean, you're also quite good in multitasking. I think you were able to manage your studies and the thesis and your startup company, which is quite a nice achievement. I would say somehow you managed to do everything at the same time. Otherwise, yeah, I strongly recommend it for industry. You are a valuable asset. I would say you will be really successful because you're extremely motivated and you have good perseverance. You don't give up easily, which is a nice attitude. And I think you are very dedicated, and whatever you commit, you make sure that you get it done. So I'm happy to work with you. Yeah, once again, congratulations, and wish you all the best for your future career.
Then finally, I would like to invite Laura, who will speak on behalf of GEWIS. She's the chair of GEWIS.
Yes, thank you, Professor Mark. Well, dear graduates, dear family, friends, and mentors, as Professor Mark introduced me, my name is Laura, and I'm the current chair of GEWIS, the Study Association for all computer science and mathematics students here at the UE. Today is a very special day. Today is the day where you are officially getting your diploma, and where the technology and industry is gaining 12 bright and fresh engineers to help to shape the future. I want to express the congratulations on behalf of the Study Association GEWIS. The dedication and motivation that you put into to get here in the past few years should not go unnoticed and should and deserve special recognition. I can only imagine how your time as a master's student could not be that easy. You had to work very hard to prove your knowledge and to prove your skill and to build a success for your future self and the success that you have today. I hope that GEWIS assisted you in some way on your path, perhaps help with your courses or your career, or just providing a place where you can meet new people and feel at home. And as you're now also alumni of our department, perhaps you're going to miss those student days once in a while here and there with your new responsibilities. And I would really like to invite you to our alumni association. It's called ADA, and feel free to reach out if you're interested. Well, then what is there left to say is, again, congratulations. I hope that you're going to remember this day for a very long time, and I hope that you're going to have fun today. Thank you.
Dear Masters of Science, with reference to the words of the previous speakers, and on behalf of the Department of Mathematics and Computer Science, I would like to congratulate you and your family on your degree. I wish you every success and good fortune in your future careers. Your academic title also comes with responsibilities towards society, and therefore I will read out now the Code of Conduct. The degree of Master involves duties as well as rights. As a holder of this degree, you are committed to the standards of scientific integrity, trustworthiness, intellectual honesty, openness, independence, and societal responsibility. These standards are described in more detail in the Netherlands Code of Conduct for Research Integrity and in the Eindhoven Code based on it. You also have duties towards society. You must be clear about the boundaries of your own expertise, and you must communicate honestly and independently about the results of your work, including potential risks associated with it. You are committed to ethical codes for research and design involving human subjects or animals. Dear relatives and other supporters, our photographer will now make some pictures of the candidates, and we will do that over there, and we as committee will be there as well. I will therefore kindly ask you to leave this room, unless you would like to make a picture, but don't stand in front of our photographer, but behind her, and wait outside to congratulate the candidates. Drinks and bites will be served upstairs in the Hubble. Thank you for joining us in this diploma ceremony, and I hereby close this session.